In the last video, we took a look at Autodesk Sketchbook and just the basic drawing capabilities. In this video, we're going to look at a few of the more advanced settings. Not everything, because it's a pretty advanced app, but you can go pretty deep with it. So here on my desktop of my actual phone, I'm going to go ahead and click on the Autodesk app. It's going to pop it up, and it will pop open the last sketch that I had opened. I don't really care about these scribblies. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this button at the top left right here. See that one? Boom. And it's going to give me the option to do a new sketch. So let's do a new sketch. I'm going to pick the second one down, which is last, which is the last thing that actually has my phone size. There is a dog hair on my phone. And we're going to take a look at a few things. So first, let's look at some of the more advanced settings of the brush. So the brush is this icon right here. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to look at my brushes. I'm just going to go to, let's see, not water brush. Yeah, technical pen. All right, that looks good. And whoops, let's go ahead and click on the color icon next to the brush. And I'm just going to make this dark for now, maybe like a dark purple. I'll hit the X and I'm going to make a line down. So that's what that pen looks like on average. So let's go ahead and click on that again. So this is the technical pen right here. Now, next to the library, we have settings right there. I'm going to click on the settings, and this is where we looked at last time that has like the size, so I can actually make it a much bigger size. But, whoops, don't want to mess with color. Go ahead and click on that again. And I'm going to go back to my settings. Let's take that back down a little bit. And we can see a preview right here about what the size and stuff will be. Let's look at the advanced settings right here. I'm going to click on advanced, and we have things like pressure. So size with heavy pressure, size with light pressure. So this is saying if we actually have a pen that we can push down on it with, like a stylus, and it's pressure sensitive, we can increase the size with heavy pressure and increase or decrease the size with light pressure. And you'll see that that does make a difference in what we're drawing with, even though my thing isn't pressure sensitive. Let's go back to my pen. There's a lot of different things, like opacity with light pressure, so how dark or light it is. There's things like stamp, like right now spacing is at 0, roundness is at 100%. I'm going to take the roundness down to 33%, and you'll see as I move it around, it's a little bit more tilted. Actually, let's go ahead in here and let's go ahead and do some solid erasing. I'm going to go to my eraser real quick, to my settings. I'm going to make the eraser super big. And I'm going to erase a bunch of this. So just so we can see better, let's go back to that technical pen, not ballpoint. Where are you at, technical pen? There you, in fountain pen, technical pen. Settings, advanced. So that roundness down to 33. And let's go back to pressure up here. I'm going to hit reset. Yes, I will reset the brush. And now that resets everything. Let's go ahead and take roundness back down just so we can kind of see what's going on. We might want to make it a little bit, whoops, I went to the wrong thing. I'm going to go back to basic, make it a little bit bigger so we can actually see how this, nope, cancel for reset. So we can see when it's the roundness is different, we kind of get these edges. So it's a straighter left and right, and it's thicker there. So it actually feels more like a calligraphy. I'm going to go back into my pen, back to my advanced settings. There's a lot of different things like rotation dynamics. You can scale it with tilt. You can change the hardness of the nib or the tip of it. There's a lot of stuff, some randomness. If we go back up a little bit more, let's go to spacing. I put that up to 5.7. Let's make it a little more. Spacing is up to 10. And if I move faster, you can actually, I'm going to zoom in. You can see that there's actually edges on there. Now wait, how am I zooming in? What is going on here? Well, I am just touching it with 2 fingers and I am pinching out. It's a pretty standard gesture. So I can pinch out and I can move it around. So yes, you can rotate, move, and zoom in on areas of your drawing. It's wonderful. In fact, let's go ahead and look. If you look really closely, boom, right there, you'll see the semi-transparent circle. If we click on that, that gives us a bunch of different settings. Like right there, transparent color, that lets us actually sort of erase over everything. If I click on it again, we have last brush, so it will allow us to go back to the last brush. Over here, we have last color, so let me point those out again. This is last brush. This is kind of the transparent eraser. Last color. This right here will flip our screen. This right here will let us actually pick out a color using the eyedropper. So this menu right here is kind of a quick select menu for anything we want. Sweet! Let me go ahead and go back to the brushes, basic. Actually, let's just go to brush, not brush types. Actually, yeah, let's go to brush types. You'll see there's a bunch of different stuff here. Marker, smudge, glow, eraser, synthetic paint. Let's go to smudge. I'm going to go ahead and now hit X, and if you look, while I'm moving around, it's not actually drawing. What it's doing is it's smudging what's already there. So we can actually get this really cool organic texture out of stuff by using a smudge brush. I'm going to click on that again. I can click on that, and we can even use things like glow. Okay. And un moment, here we go. And that, when I go over stuff, it kind of smudge glows things. Oh, it's so cool looking. Not that. Let's go in here. There's all these other things like colorless. What does colorless do? Oh, it makes it so it's getting rid of color. Interesting. And there's a lot of different things here. You can actually use things like Lighten, which will lighten stuff up a little bit, or should, but isn't quite doing it. Different colors will mix into different things in different ways using those. All right, back to that big brush. Back to brush types. Let me click on, library at the top left. Let me get that big eraser and erase a bunch of this. Cool. Now let's look at the color menu. And there's a really interesting second menu up here other than color. It's called Copics. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but this gives us a lot of different options with colors. So if you want to do more design and have things be a little more technical, you can select the different colors from here, and some of the stuff it will give you at the bottom, like complementary, so blue violet, it's showing this color right here that's complementary. And I can go back and forth by just clicking on it with my finger, and it will show me the complementary color. Now, a complementary color is a color that's across from it on the color wheel. So let's look at some of these other colors like the green. So right there, I have the GO3, and we have this meadow green complementary, and it's giving me like a whole range of complementary. So like we can actually look at some of this stuff, and we can start playing around and find colors that go with other colors through messing in this Copic stuff. Now, I haven't messed with it too much, so I'm not going to act like I'm some super duper expert sauce. But it's pretty cool if you want to help get some color choices made. So there's another menu that we have not seen here, and it is this one at the top left. Boom. This has some different tools we can use. Like, let's say I only want to draw within a certain square here. I can go to my selection tool, and I'm going to select this second one that's kind of a square, and I'm going to click and drag it, and whoops, and I can draw this selection. That looks horrible. Let's do that again. Selection tool, and here we go. And I can trace the selection I want, and check this out now. Let's go ahead and get a big messy brush, not eraser. Yes, nope, not an eraser, I said. Come on, world. Soft pastel. I'm going to go to the settings. I'm going to make it nice and big. So this soft pastel, if I'm trying to draw, and right now I'm going to click up here in the top right, and you can't see it. But if I click inside of here, it will let me draw only in the selection, which is pretty cool. So another thing that there is there's transform, and transform will let me actually transform a section that I made and just a thing from a selection. So now I'm pinching and grabbing and moving this to transform it. Pretty awesome. And it has these different things, so I can play with like the perspective a little bit if I want. Oh yeah, it's weirdness, dude. That's fine. Let's go back to that tools menu. We have fill, which will let us actually fill an area with a solid color. So I'm going to use this, and boom, it just filled that whole area with orange. Yeah, no problem, world. We've got things like guides, and we can actually make guides for us to draw around, like this ellipse guide. Let's go ahead and make a different brush color here to feel good about it. And now I'm trying to draw, but it's only letting me draw around this guide right here. So when I get rid of that, let's go back to transform. It let me draw this really good circle. Now, yeah, I'm doing this pretty ugly, but no worries. So there's a few different things like draw styles. Like if you want to draw in lines, you can click on that and you see it's having me draw in these lines. So like no matter as I move my hand around here, it's only letting me draw straight lines. I can do it in circles as well, or ovals as it calls it, and it will only let me draw these ovals or rectangles. It looks like there's a few other weird things. Let's hit X. Going back into that, in here you could also do things like super rad-tastic, you can make a time-lapse video where you're recording your drawing. So if you want to draw over time, let's go to color, let's go back to my regular color wheel because I'm fast on that. Let's go back to color, let's make this nice bright yellow, go back to and then I can go back to my tools and unclick the time-lapse, and you see it captured 10 frames. So over time, I'm going to go ahead and save it to device, and it will probably save it as a video in MP4. Let's go ahead and hit save there. So it saved 10 frames of that. So it makes a time lapse. So really fast over if you watch it back, and let's go ahead and we'll find it on my phone real quick. Where is my video? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Where is my, I bet if I go to camera, it will let me go to it. Or not. Nope, no, it won't. No, it won't. Okay. Where is my library of stuff? Video player. I'm not sure where my video player is. And because this isn't my normal phone. Did I save it in downloads? I did. So if we watch, and I'll just open it with photos just once. See, it saved it as a time-lapse video. So you can start a recording and record your drawing process over time. It's pretty fantastic. Let's go back into Sketchbook. So there's a few more things in here like perspective guides, or you can import an image. And let's see, the only images I have is another drawing that I once did. And you can then move that image around and you can set that image and you can draw on top of it. There are a lot more things that you can do with this. Some of the other stuff you can do is if you, let's see, whoop, that's not what I wanted. I didn't want to go to support. My apologies, world. So you can actually save these as different kinds of things. So I can go to, I think it's under share, save to device. Nope, that's going to keep it as a ping, which I've done already. But there is the ability to save it as, let's see, where is it? It will probably be in here. Preferences? Nope. Nope. Let's go to, back up to that top left one. I'm going to go to gallery. There we go, save current sketch. And it might give us the option to export it as a PSD. So if we look at these, I can select my different sketches. How about this one? And if I click this button at the bottom right here, boom, it gives me this option to export PSD. And that's exporting a Photoshop document. I'm going to save it to my device, untitled PSD. I'm just going to call this one, I think this one was the glow texture, glow text, and hit the check mark. And so this will actually save a Photoshop document. So if I want to save, I can open this in Photoshop now. And I can actually edit it in another program. So it's pretty great and it's pretty awesome. And I highly recommend you download this. Play with it. Free. Good. Awesome. All right. Peace, y'all.